Fly Pod.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Welcome to episode 83 of the Fly Route Podcast. I'm here with the guys. It's your host, Anthony, a.k.a. Gameball Tony, a.k.a. Shaq's Free Throw Forum, a.k.a. Week 1 Sammy Watkins. That means I'm about to go the fuck off. Let's get it. All right, what's popping with y'all? Y'all got any AKAs today?
Man, y'all already know Twig Street Baby up in this thing, a.k.a. Mac and Cheese, a.k.a. no coordinator needed. You know what I'm saying?
I hope you stick with that all year.
Yeah, they're my AKAs all season. Mac and Cheese, no coordinator needed. There we go. Rockets.
Sam, a.k.a. Lakers Pat Bev, a.k.a. I said hello. Did y'all see that?
I saw they play with me now. He said LeBron and Russell played with me. I made it to the playoffs. Yeah, I saw that shit. That shit was hard.
Just imagine seeing them after that. Like,
yo, it's gonna be
like I said what I said.
It's gonna be a weird dynamic, but I mean that's who Pat Bev is though.
I ain't gonna lie, him and Russ, y'all seen them dap up, right? It just seemed like it was like forced. Yeah. It ain't look authentic.
That shit fake.
Yeah.
they actually hate each other.
They're like, we just getting paid to play ball. That's all this is.
I don't even know if they beefing right now, but the picture looked like they was like, yo, put the camera in their face, and Russ like, oh, face ass smile. Like, I don't even know if they beefing right now. I just know that shit looked off.
Definitely.
All right, Cliff.
It's Cliff. Glove. I don't really got no AKs. I'm ready for the season to get started. I'm just hyped. AKA week 1. Let's go.
Facts. All right, we are going to get into our week 1 breakdown, give you our playoff bracket before the season starts, and get into all of the hottest news running around this week in the NFL and NBA.
The Fly Route Pod.
All right, Keisha here this week, so I'm going to top us off with the news. Ooh, pause. I'm going to get us going with the news. Look, I'm just saying, he ain't here, but I'm going to keep him here in spirit, all right? All right, so the breaking news around the leagues this week. All right, we're going to start with the fact that 40-year-old Jason Peters is officially a Cowboy on their practice squad, trying to get it to shape for the season. Cliff, you think this man's about to play week 1? Is he ready?
He gonna have to.
Yes.
He ain't on the practice squad. He warming up, man. He getting ready to go. If that man ain't out there, Dak ain't no attacking Dak because he gonna get somebody. They gonna get after him all night, bro. If they don't protect that man blindside,
Super Bowl all over again.
Oof.
Bro, they gonna get after that man if we don't got no help. So,
all right, facts. Speaking of the Tampa Bay Dallas Cowboys game, Chris Godwin has been practicing this week without his knee brace and looks to be trending a full go for week 1 and had another full practice no brace today. So it looks like Tom Brady's weapons are going to be in full accord for the beginning of the season, which I know Cliff loves to hear that shit.
Hey, their offensive line look a little hurt like ours though. So
guard, center guard. Yeah,
they got a lot more weapons though to throw to because I don't think Gallup ain't gonna be out there week 1.
Anthony, you know we're playing each other week 1 in fantasy, and I got Godwin in that flex.
I hope it works out for you, but hey, yeah, we're going to see what he looks like with full practice, full speed, getting hit on that knee. Because, I mean, he look good right now, but it's all different when live bullets start flying. Yep. You know, speaking of other guys coming back from injury sooner than expected, Zach Wilson, after his knee injury during the preseason, is back at practice. So he'll be making his debut sooner rather than later. But week 1 is still going to be the Joe Flacco revenge game versus the Ravens. We got Kittle not practicing due to a groin issue. I don't know why, but he is somehow always banged up. And the season ain't even started yet. And my man, it has another one. And we all know the groin issues are tough. They are big tough, and they generally tend to linger and come back over the course of the season. So that's not a great way for anybody to want to start things off. Dawson Knox signed a big deal, an extension with the Bills. He signed a 4-year, $53 million guaranteed deal. No, $53 million, 31 of it is guaranteed deal. NBA-wise, Sixers signed Montrezl Harrell to a 2-year deal with a player option as a backup 5 for Embiid. That seems to be relatively large. From there, we will move into the RPO, where y'all going to let me know whether you're going to run or pass on some of the other hot news breaking down around the leagues this week. All right, keeping in the NBA strain for a couple of these questions, I am going to start with Sam. The Cavs, after adding Donovan Mitchell, are a contender in the East. I'm talking top 3, top 4 seed. Run or pass?
I'm going to pass. I think they're really good. They'll be for sure a playoff team, and I think they've improved. I think they've improved a lot compared to some of the other teams in the East that have done a little bit less, like Miami, like the Knicks, for example. But to me, the 3 contenders in the East right now are Milwaukee, Boston, and Philly. And then Brooklyn is kind of that question mark that I would have just slotted at 4, that if at peak health and peak operation could be anywhere from like first best team, or they could be in the play-in again, because we haven't really seen that play out. But I don't think the Cavs are quite a contender. I think they have a ton of depth, and they've added like a true superstar or star level player, maybe not superstar, but a 4th like all-star caliber player gives them a ton of depth. I just don't think it puts them above those 3 other teams and maybe even Brooklyn.
Facts. All right, we got one for T.O. in the NBA vein. Danilo Gallinari's knee injury that he got in overseas play was confirmed to be an ACL tear. The rumors are swirling that Boston has its eye on Carmelo Anthony as a replacement. Can Melo help the Boston Celtics get back to the NBA Finals? Run or pass?
I'm going to say run. And the reason I say run is at this point, last season, he averaged 13.3 points and 4.2 boards. So as a player, you probably expect, I would say, the 7th, 8th man off the bench that can come in and give you 15, 20 points any given night. I'm taking it. Not necessarily looking for him to be an enforcer on defense, especially, he ain't never been that. But now he's 38 now. Also, he shot 44% from the field and 38 from the 3 last year. So, he can definitely step in, replace Gallinari, and then also teach/mentor JT and JB on, obviously the offensive side of the ball, post-game, and just the way he sees the court, because we know offensively, he's one of the best scorers ever. So I think he could. But me, that's what I personally think.
All right, this ain't no Celtics, just fandom. You praying for Melo?
I ain't saying I'm praying for Melo. I ain't gonna say that because I ain't pressed about getting him. But
but he gonna help you get to the finals, but you not pressed.
Let me talk to you as a Lakers fan real quick and just ask you something from that perspective. So the Lakers, before Melo got there, like the bubble championship team that Frank Vogel coached, like elite defense. The Celtics, elite defense. Do you want someone that like will not? Because as a Lakers fan last year, he just does not buy in on defense. He will not guard. And so this
ain't never been his, he ain't never been big on defense.
It's egregious these days though. So like as an elite defense in Boston, do you want to bring someone in that just won't? Do you think he'll be able to even stay on the court defensively?
Honestly, I feel like at some point you have to buy in, and with this Celtics team, I think he potentially could, knowing the potential. And the reason I say that is because, being honest, as a basketball fan, the Lakers last year, weren't really playing for much. So, at this point, he out here barely getting signed to a team. We all know his offensive skill level. And like, hey, we're going to toss down to you one-on-one on the block, get a bucket. defensive side of the ball, it's just he might be a liability, but I feel like it was because he wasn't necessarily playing for a championship, playing for a top seed.
That's a fact. It wasn't just him the reason the Lakers defense declined, for sure.
Yeah.
And maybe the Celtics defense is just so good that Melo being a great defender or even a plus defender doesn't matter. And it's not like Danilo Gallinari was about to lock people up. So.
Exactly.
All right, yo, we got Cliff. Kenny Pickett replaces Mitch Trubisky as the Steelers starting quarterback by week 10. Run or pass? You muted, player.
Hey, my bad. Hey, so I'm gonna run with that one. I personally think you start Mitch to start the season. It don't look as bad if you start Mitch and then later on you go to Kenny. Like if you start Kenny though and things get a little shaky, then you go into the backup. You know what I'm saying, from the guy you drafted one. So I think Mitch is always going to. He's going to make enough mistakes, but won't do anything really to separate himself. And I don't think he did during the preseason. I think they were pretty and if you have a rookie and a little established guy and they kind of playing on the same level, I mean, it is preseason. Then, I mean, why not go with the younger guy so he can start getting experience? But I think, Mike Tomlin know what he's doing. He's going to get Mitch in there. They'll win some. They're definitely going to win some games. They're going to lose some games. And depending on how those games go and how Mitch plays, obviously, is going to dictate that. But I definitely think that he's going to do enough to get himself out the way.
Okay. All right. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. All right. My last one here is one last TL one. We got to talk about Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has set his contract negotiations deadline for this Friday. Does Russ and Kyler not trying to get a fully guaranteed deal after Deshaun prevent Lamar from being able to get one? Run or pass?
I really struggle with this one. I'm not going to lie. But I'm going to go run. I don't know what in the hell possessed Cleveland outside of just, I guess, being a shitty organization to give somebody that's going through that many, alleged women in a lawsuit, and to give him the biggest, pretty much guaranteed money ever is just like, what? It don't even make sense. So for Kyler and Russ to not even get fully guaranteed, I feel like it does hurt Lamar. I mean, he has won MVP, which, I feel like another thing he has leverage on as well is if they don't close on a deal, he's going to get tagged next year. And that's worth over 40, going to be probably worth more than $45 million. So I feel like he definitely has leverage, but I feel like it's going to hurt him just based on looking at the history of quarterbacks that play like Lamar, and the injury history to be exact. So I feel like it definitely is going to hurt. And for, Baltimore to potentially might not want to be cap strapped to Lamar. So, I mean, we're going to see. But, I mean, if he's not, paid by this Friday, we're going to see if he even wants to play there anymore, or if he's going to sit out, if he's going to request a trade. Like, there's no telling where this is going to go. I mean, maybe he might play. But at the same time, it's like, well, I don't want to risk any injuries. I know right now I know my worth right now. So maybe somebody might be able to come swoop in, and that'll definitely be surprising. But, I mean, you never know what's going to happen.
All right, facts. I like that. That leaves us with the RPO. We're about to move into our preseason playoff bracket. This is the last week, basically the last day, because the season starts tomorrow, where you can say all your predictions were far and into the future. All right. So I want to get out way too early playoff bracket for the season when we haven't seen any of these teams really actually play yet. All right. Does anybody volunteer as tribute to give theirs first?
I'll go if nobody else want to go.
I would say, listen, I don't mind.
right. All right. Look, we're going to start with T.O. All right. And then we'll go to Cliff, then Sam, and then I'll round this out with, maybe the best list, but we'll see what y'all got going on. All right. T.O., you going first, so keep the eyes up.
I mean, I ain't going to say you got the best list, but my list is very well-rounded. So in the AFC, I got the Bills winning the AFC East, but also got them getting the top seed and getting that bye week one.
Mm-hmm.
Also got the Chargers winning the West. I got the Bengals winning the North, and I got the Colts winning the South. I have 3 wild cards: the Chiefs, Raiders, and Ravens.
It's exactly the same. Go ahead,
you got the best list.
I guess we got the best list.
I'm on point. I'm on point with it. In the NFC, I have the Rams winning the top seed. I got the Pack winning the North. I got the Bucks winning the South, and the Eagles winning the East. Wild cards, I got the Vikings, Cowboys, and the Cardinals. What y'all don't like about that?
Okay, that's interesting. We got a little bit of movement there. We got a little bit of movement there in the NFC. All right, Cliff, where you at?
Mine's a little different. We got some of the same things on the division winners for sure though. But for the North and the AFC side, I got the Bengals. East, I got the Bills. South, I got the Colts, and West, I got the Chargers. And then for the NFC side, the North, I got the Packers. East, I gotta go with my Cowboys, even though I don't know how I feel right now. That Tyron Smith, that Tyron Smith injury, that Tyron Smith injury changed everything. I mean,
I was humble with my pick, and I picked the Bills.
Look, I think we're gonna make the playoffs, but maybe I'm stretching on the winning division. But I'm gonna go where I started. That's where I started.
All right.
So the Bucks gonna take the South, and the Rams gonna take the West. I got the Packers being the 1 seed on the NFC side, and the Bills being the 1 seed on the AFC side.
Pack.
Yeah.
And then Rodgers is about to get his 3rd MVP.
I think Rodgers he's gonna have to be a guy without the.
Hey, he can't throw it and catch it.
Hey, he got some. I think he got some young guys that he might, and then they're gonna lean on the run game big time, bro. And I still think that defense is pretty solid. So, and it's still A-Rod. Like I'm not.
I mean, they got 2 good running backs, but I mean, handing him the ball off ain't finna get him the MVP.
Yo,
I ain't say he had to win MVP. I said they had to get the first round bye.
If he had the first round bye with this team,
look at the
after
division.
All the talk about I see the Vikings possibly beating them twice.
If he doesn't have great numbers,
I don't know. We're gonna see. Hey, look. I reached. I know I reached. But you gotta have some sprinkles in there, a little something. So my wild card on the AFC side, and I don't even like Green Bay. Hold on, I don't even like Green Bay. I'm a Cowboys fan. I know damn well I don't like Green Bay. All right. So
it was a catch.
It was. They came out later and said it was. Look, don't even get me started. Get me hot up in here. So it's clearly a catch. He was reaching for the goal line. So on the wild card for the AFC side, I got the Titans, the Raiders, and the Broncos.
So you think the Ravens would make the playoffs?
Huh?
So you don't think the Ravens will make the playoffs? And the Chargers?
I think the Ravens just have. We just talked about Lamar and his situation. Like,
I don't asking.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think he makes it.
If he's playing, if he gets hurt,
that defense is nice too, though.
I know, but we don't even got to win in the division though. I just feel like that division is tougher too. Like I also looked at the divisions they playing. You play those guys twice a year. You know what I'm saying? If the Titans and the Colts, you playing the Texans and the Jags twice a year. So like y'all got to bet the Packers got the Lions and the Bears in their division. No offense to the Bears, but I mean we being honest here. We talk about guaranteed dubs on top of whoever else they got, just strength of schedule and stuff. So I got the Broncos getting in, Raiders and Titans in the AFC side. I think that Broncos division is stacked with the Chargers.
Yeah, so you think the Chargers and the Ravens missed the playoffs?
No, I had the Chargers winning that division.
Wait, so you think the Chiefs missed the playoffs?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I couldn't do that one. I couldn't do that one.
I thought about it for a minute. But you know what? Let's ride.
Yeah.
Let's ride. I think he got more established weapons out there. Solid run game. He's in a new situation where I think the defense was solid last year as well. They just didn't have no Q, and they fought injuries at the receiver position. So we'll see what happens. But I like Russ. I'm a big fan of Russ.
Me too. Let him cook.
Yeah, man. I gotta go on. I'm going on a limb. And so the NFC side, I got the Vikings, the Eagles, and the Saints.
All right. So Cardinals missed for you on the NFC side.
Yeah, I just don't. I mean, they can't. They just don't play well late in the season. So if you start out early without D-Hop and you don't play well like you're supposed to, and then you get to that late part of the season, and you don't play well like you've been known not to, you're in a tough spot. And you playing
fresh. D-Hop fresh late in the season.
I mean, the only real guaranteed dub, not guaranteed, but it's the NFL. But you play the Seahawks twice, but everybody else, I mean, you got the Rams and the 49ers who are gonna compete. So that's my take.
Yeah, that's hard. That'd be a crazy playoffs.
That would.
Don't sleep on the Saints though. The Saints might come out rocking because their defense is already.
I can see the
solid.
Saints making it.
And they had Honey Badger too.
I was looking at some stuff and I watched that little interview with what's his name, Jameis. They said he was playing pretty elite early with no Michael Thomas, with no Chris Olave, with no Jarvis Landry, Alvin Kamara. I mean, just looking at the pieces, I just think we're gonna see what happens.
But with the Sean Payton, that's the thing.
That's true. Hey, that's our guy next year. That's our guy. That's our guy next year.
He already got Mike McCarthy getting fired.
Ain't no way you Jerry Jones and you believe that team is better than the team last year. You on some crazy stuff if you really believe it. You don't pay nobody. You go get Jason Peters to protect your franchise quarterback. You're not. Don't get me wrong. Jason Peters is all pro. We know who Jason Peters is, but he also 40 years old, and there's a reason why he wasn't with a team. So
Facts.
We're gonna see.
All right, Sam, talk to us.
So for the AFC side, I got the Bills winning. I got the Bills winning the 1 seed and their division. I got the Chargers as the 2 seed winning the West. I got the Bengals as the 3 seed winning the North. Titans as a 4 seed winning the South. And then my 3 wildcard teams are the Chiefs, Ravens, and Broncos. So I got the Raiders missing out of the AFC. It's just so tough with the AFC West because it's like someone has to – well, maybe they can get all 3 wildcard spots. Crazy. That would be crazy.
That'd be crazy.
But, like, it seems like through playing each other that
someone's going
to knock someone out. And I'm with Cliff. I just like Russ. And I like his weapons. I think that Denver has a little bit better of an O-line. Is going to be able to protect him a little bit more than Derek Carr is going to be able to protect it. But it's really hard to pick out of that division who I
have a run game too.
Miss.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm not the biggest Josh Jacobs believer. Like maybe between him and Amir Abdullah, they can – like put together a productive run game, but I'm with y'all. I think Denver has the advantage there, and it's just hard to count out Mahomes even without Tyreek Hill, even with them losing Honey Badger. It's hard to just say the Chiefs will go from competing in the AFC Championship every year to missing the playoffs the next year. But I respect it. I was just not willing to bet against that man.
I feel that 100%.
And then for the NFC side, I'm going out on a bit of a limb here. I got the Eagles winning their division and getting the 1 seed.
Ooh.
I just think they're going to be like a really good regular season team. I just think they're built to win a lot of games. and they are not in a strong division competition outside of the Cowboys. I think they're going to run through the Jets or the Giants and the Washington Commanders. I had to remember what the name of that team was.
Trash ass name.
It really
Honestly,
is.
they should have stayed the football team. That shit kind of hard. Like I made fun of it at first.
Me too.
I made fun of it at first, but it grew on me. I was like, they ain't bad.
When they went to the Commanders, you're like, yeah, the football team is probably better.
Yeah.
For sure. I got the Rams winning the West. I got the Packers winning the North. I got the Saints winning the South. And then my 3 wildcard teams are the Bucks, the Vikings, and the Arizona Cardinals. Sorry, Cliff.
No.
Right.
That's interesting. I almost flipped the Bucks and the Saints, to be honest. I was torn between who was going to win that division.
Same. Look, this is really interesting. I'm gonna start with the NFC because I had the Eagles as like a 2 seed, not the 1 seed. I had the Rams winning the NFC and winning the NFC West. But the Eagles' strength of schedule is so bad. It's like bottom 3 in the league, and the Rams are like top 3 in the league. So like, I could very easily see you being right. But I had the Rams eking through, being the 1 seed, getting the bye, also winning the NFC West. In the NFC North, I have the Vikings coming out the North. I honestly think the Vikings may be the most underrated team in football this year. It's just, can you understand how good their offensive weaponry has been with no offensive identity or coaching, really? Like, I think they're going to explode. The Bucks I have coming out the South, I originally wanted to have the Saints, and then I looked at the records, and I just can't bet against Tom Brady. I just couldn't do it for the Saints to come out. NFC East, I thought the Eagles by far, not even close. Wild card positions, I had the first wild card being the Packers, the second being the Saints, and the third being the Cardinals as well. I was close to picking the Cowboys, but your team looked like a mess in so many different areas. Even though the schedule is so bad that like I feel like you should get that third wild card spot over the Cardinals, I just can't bring myself to do it.
Did you think about the 49ers there at all? Or did any of y'all think about the 49ers at all for that last wild card spot?
I didn't, and I feel like maybe we should, because like Jimmy G wasn't doing all that much to elevate this team. So like, unless we think Trey Lance is just going to be throwing like a million picks, like how much does Trey Lance really need to do for the 49ers to be a wild card team?
Yeah, that's what they just seem like a steady team. Like they're always in the conversation. So them and the Cowboys are the two I feel like that I didn't put in mind, that I gave the most thought to. Like these two teams could maybe be better than the Cardinals.
If the schedule was a little bit easier for the 49ers, I'd take them over the Cowboys as my like possible. But God, the Cowboys schedule is bad. Like that's why when you were like Eagles win the NFC, I was like, like that's kind of valid. Like I was on the Extra Point pod this past like week, and Theo had them coming out, and I was like, yo, you serious? But the more I look at it, the more I'm like, that seems highly likely, just because they're not really going to play nobody. The AFC side, me and T.O. literally have the same exact rundown. Bills 1 seed, East champs, Chargers out the West, Bengals out the North, Colts out the South, and then wild card being Ravens, Chiefs, Raiders.
Didn't you originally have the Titans? Or
no, never. Not me. Not I.
I think Sam was on.
I definitely had the Titans. Yeah,
he was on one that picked the Titans. I think. That's another one. That's another one where I'm like,
I'm not.
I think me and Keith had the Titans.
Yeah, it might have been you and Keith, because the cultures. I'm just like Ryan Tannehill is still Ryan Tannehill, and now he is Ryan Tannehill without AJ Brown.
Yeah, that's the biggest. You lose, but they're not even a passing team anyway. Though
They lost
like, you
Harold
know,
Landry, too.
That's my thing.
yeah, the
I'm
Harold Landry thing's big, but you know who's on the back, man. You know who's carrying that team.
It's not they're not a passing team, but was AJ Brown still putting up 1K?
He still was.
Okay, so
was
they're
a
not a
dog.
passing team, but they still had a 1K receiver or somewhere close to there.
He was.
Right? So remember,
He was playing.
they losing that. I.e., when you are running the ball so much, the reason why it helps is because the play action pass, right? And that allows them to get
you don't
big
got to
chunks.
convince me. I got the Eagles as the 1 seed.
Yeah, the big chunks. Who the big chunks going to? Robert Woods?
We're gonna have to see if
He
Robert
gonna be
Woods
here?
or Treylon
Burks.
Burks.
He got 2 guys, so instead of 1, he got 2. So we're gonna see.
Treylon Burks not proven yet though. So
that's what I'm saying. And Adrian
He
Brown
not.
was a dog.
But you take him where you take him, he's supposed to be. So we're gonna see.
He take it where he take it because they decided to give away their best weapon. That's not
because they didn't want to pay. They didn't want to pay him.
Yeah, they should have just paid the man. I think they're gonna suffer because of that.
I'm pretty mad they gave him to the Eagles. He's gonna give him to the Eagles. Why?
Yeah, he's gonna be.
Why? They getting everybody. Like I said,
they say you got to get out this division, my boy.
Yeah. So I also like the Colts. Come on now, we all can agree that Matt
Defense
Ryan
really
is an
good,
improvement
man.
over Carson Wentz, and their defense got better. Like they added Gilly to that defense that was already good. They went from Carson Wentz to Matt Ryan. Jonathan Taylor is
O-line's different.
Huge. That's the best.
I take the Colts defense every year in fantasy. Got them in all 3 leagues, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they're nice. They're
Consistent.
I will say I'm interested. So everybody was on the who had the Broncos besides Sam making the playoffs? Sam and Cliff. Yo, I believe in the Raiders just because of how much big name talent they have. But if you look at it on paper, it should probably be the Broncos.
I was torn between them two, honestly. I was like,
that offensive line?
That whole division.
Yeah, but that whole division gas. It won't really much. You just live by whatever one you pick.
It's really like y'all were like, I can't bet against Mahomes. I'm like, I can't. My choice is I go with the Broncos. I go with the Raiders. I think the Raiders. Derek Carr is always in the mix, even when he didn't have guys. So you give him Devontae Adams with Waller. I know that Jacobs ain't the guy. I think Zamir White, the Rook, might honestly. I think that's why they were okay with getting rid of Drake.
Zamir White's gonna be nice for them.
Yeah, I think that's why they were okay with getting rid of Drake. And the Broncos are just well rounded. I think Randy Gregory ain't gonna be a 15 sack guy for them. He might, but I don't see it. I think he's a solid
Crosby and Chandler Jones.
Yeah, but that back end though, got some question marks though.
Yeah,
with the Raiders, but I think they've been in the mix without the guys, and now they got Devontae Adams. Is really what I'm gonna say.
And they got Josh McDaniels at the head, no?
We're gonna see what that looked like, guy, because we ain't seen it look like much in that position.
Well, it took Tim Tebow to the playoffs. Come on.
Look, Tim Tebow was just making magic happen out of nowhere when they were doing Remember how many comebacks Tebow had to lead?
Boy, listen, them boys out there balling.
Yeah, and then Peyton Manning came through and they punted that boy. All right, look, I'm gonna put you on the spot real quick. Who is your MVP favorite right now? If you had to put the money down, who would you put it on?
Josh Allen.
All right, Josh Allen, I like that.
I'm gonna go Josh. Just to choose somebody different. I'm gonna go Herbert.
Ooh, that's spicy. I like that. If he wins the West, I could definitely see that. Although,
but you think about what they've been doing these past couple of years, all they've been doing is focusing. Let's build this O-line. And then they obviously still got Keenan Allen, who's still a dog. Mike Williams, they kept him. They probably need a tight end.
They got Gerald Everett from the Seahawks.
Oh, they did get Gerald Everett.
Yeah, I
think
they got good year.
Sony Michel, and then obviously they got Austin Eckler, running back, who's a starter. But then we know what's on the defensive side of the ball. So
yeah, JC will not play week 1. I did not have that in the news. He's still a little sidelined from that minor knee surgery he had. All right,
You get him that Herbert time, he finna light it up this year. I think.
Yeah, he gonna carve people up for sure.
Man, those is my two. So to be different, I'm gonna go with a different position, and I'm gonna say Derrick Henry.
Get the fuck out of here, bro. I appreciate you, and Derrick Henry probably should have won an MVP already, but we
just
know.
because I know what it is, but
Yeah.
but why not? Those are the guys I was gonna pick. I ain't gonna pick another Q just to
If
pick
he stay healthy all season, I can see that though.
They're not gonna give it to him, no matter what. That man can give you another 2K yards, and they will not give it to him.
After the injury though. Come on, man, you gotta have some type of.
Look,
If he give that to you after that, man, the Liz Frank injury, that's a real injury for a guy that big, man. Out there back there running the ball, man.
You preach it to the choir. I
want to change my answer. I want to change my answer.
All right.
I'm going for the guy betting on himself. I'm going to say Lamar Jackson.
I think that's a good one. Like, because people will be talking about him all year long. It's a media narrative. And
it's the same thing Aaron Judge is doing in baseball right now. He didn't take a deal, and he's hit 55 homers and is leading the major leagues betting on himself. So I think Lamar is going to take that same energy. If
Lamar gets 2 MVPs, he getting that guaranteed deal, or he gonna get tagged twice.
We gonna be sick when Jalen Hurts win.
Yo, actually, so I'm surprised Sam didn't say.
Man,
Hurts
go ahead, man.
Because he had if Hurts wins the NFC, it has the first round bye. I'm surprised
his
that
numbers
that's
are
your
going to be
prediction,
up.
and you did not have him winning MVP. Like we talked about this months ago, where I was like, Jalen Hurts could be due. Well, you actually said it first. Jalen Hurts could be due for a Lamar Jackson MVP type season, and like I'm saying,
I did.
Yo, if Hurts wins the NFC, he is definitely a prime MVP candidate. And,
for sure.
Yo, I will say that for me, my money was going to be on Lamar as well. I just think Lamar is going to come different. Lamar is really going to come different, and he is going to be carrying a team single-handedly. And we all know it. Like, what else is on that offense? Mark Andrews? Mark Andrews. Him and Mark Andrews. So it's going to look like A-Rod and Devontae. Here go your 20 targets a game.
Facts. Bateman going to have to step up big for them.
Somebody going to have to.
Duvernay, Bateman.
Duvernay might be the guy for real.
All right.
Yeah, he might
look. He someone's going to have to be because Hollywood finally broke out, then dip.
That boy finally catching the ball.
Yeah, he said, well, now I'm catching balls. I need to go somewhere where they throw them.
No bull, though.
All right. Look, let's get into the week 1 breakdown. All right. So everybody here came with 2 games that they were most excited to watch this week. We are going to start with Sam. I want to know, what 2 games have you glued to your TV screen?
So the games I'm most excited about is, I think, one, we're getting a preview of what could be the Super Bowl with the Rams versus the Bills. So I think that one is definitely a must-see. There's a very obvious one that I think we're going to talk about. I'm not going to go with it. For my second one, I'm going to say Raiders-Chargers. Just we've been talking about how good that division is. And just to get to see those pretty fully loaded offenses going against each other, I think that's going to be a game where both teams are airing it out a lot. So I think that's going to be a fun game to watch. And I think all 4 of those teams are going to be good teams this year. So it shouldn't be too lopsided one way or the other.
Do you feel confident in the winner of those games?
I think the Chargers will win.
I'm not.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Bills and Chargers.
Okay. Vibes. All right, yo, Cliff, what's poppin'?
I'm gonna go a different game because I like both of those games and I could very well pick those 2. But I'm gonna go with the one he says obvious, and just pick the Panthers and Browns game. Not even so much. It's really the Panthers offense versus the Browns defense. Is really what I'm excited to watch, and how they game plan for him, knowing him, and how he comes out fired up. And then the other game is the Packers and Vikings. I think that's going to be a huge one. We talking about that division and, who going to come out. A-Rod, first game with no Devontae Adams. We against your division opponent, the only competitor you really got in that division. I mean, that's who it's going to come down between. And this is, the Vikings got a bunch of weapons. I still think they got a bunch of guys on defense. So that's going to be
Darius Smith. They added him too.
They got
He looking for blood.
You got Hunter, you got Smith, you got Kendricks, you got Harrison Smith, the rookie Lewis Chin at safety. I think they got some guys out there that like I could have very well picked them to win the division. I just don't believe in Kirk Cousins. And what's crazy?
He looked just like Dak. His numbers are Dak's numbers. How do you believe in Dak and not Kirk?
What has Kirk ever won, though?
What has Dak ever won?
Why we doing
Kirk
this?
Look at you.
Look
at you. Look at you. What has Dak ever won?
Kirk been in the league doing the same thing.
Dak
was
is
a fourth-round pick.
How old is Dak, though?
Dak was a fourth-round pick.
That's my point. And they numbers look near identical almost every year.
Dak's like
both of them. If they could,
Dak's
get
like
to the
6 years younger.
They're gonna lose the first game.
Dak's like 6 years younger. I mean,
Dak has also had a lot of talent around him too. Like Kirk's talent has gotten really good. Yeah, it's good too. But the difference was he had Dalvin Cook. He had Dalvin Cook and a defensive head coach.
Listen, that run game worked very well, and he had JJ out there.
And Dak had Zeke in the best offensive line in football and an offensive head coach. I'm not even trying to say Dak is worse than Kirk. I'm trying to say these are very equivalent players.
Look,
That's
all I'm trying to say. Kirk.
Look, I ain't really talk about the Cowboys because I picked us to win, but we know there's that voice in the back of my mind that's like, if we don't, will I be surprised? No, because I know football and I know what it looked like on paper, and the Eagles look good. But I think I just can't believe in Kirk Cousins because I just can't believe in the Vikings and Kirk Cousins. I'll say that because they just don't get it done, and this may be the year. I was watching something and I saw some people pick Kirk Cousins to win MVP this year. I said that I was like that's a real dark horse, but
they smoking.
Chew.
I
don't know. That's my main thing. I don't believe in that guy, but I think that's gonna be a great game.
Okay. All right, what's popping, T.O.?
So obviously ain't nobody going their team. So outside of my team. I feel like y'all really
your team if you want to.
I was gonna pick that game too. I like that game though.
I'm definitely gonna go. I had a lot of those games I had on there. The only one I feel like y'all didn't have for me was Russ's revenge game against the Seahawks. So I'm just ready to see him beat the dog shit out the Seahawks. Just because they tried them, honestly. And then if I had to say another game, I'm gonna go Steelers-Bengals. And the reason I'm gonna say that, outside of being different from what we already picked, is that I would say if Mitch Trubisky comes out there looking like dog shit, to answer your question, Cliff, Kenny Pickett right on in there.
Hey, we gave him the Week 10 grace period. So
hey, listen, if we see that Chicago Bear Trubisky, tell me Kenny Pickett ain't gonna be in there by halftime.
He ain't
halftime, boy.
Dang, halftime. Come on now. I feel like Mike Tomlin has a little bit more patience. What's up, Sports World? Are there any games you are interested in seeing this week, y'all? Everybody that's in the chat right now, Sports World, anybody else? While we wait for y'all's responses, the one game I had, my first one was definitely Bills-Rams as well. Felt the same way as Sam. But I also had KC versus the Cardinals on my list.
Yeah.
I really like that game. It's going to be an offensive showcase. Seeing what KC's offense looks like without Tyreek Hill is going to be very interesting. We all want to see that, right? We all think the Cardinals generally start hot as a team, so we think their offense will be firing well enough, and they have Hollywood Brown, who is not D-Hop, but, at least they're not, like, down a receiver. in the total grand scheme of things, right? D-Hop will be an amazing addition once that happens. But I feel like that's going to be a big, big shootout. And we got to see what Mahomes looks like when he has to get big chunk plays without Tyreek. We know that he can do some methodical work, go down the field efficiently, etc. But they're going to be throwing bombs in Arizona. And we know this. With Hollywood Brown, they throwing bombs in Arizona. All right. Yeah. Rams Bills, that one I agree with. I think that's gonna be big. And that game is tomorrow, Thursday night.
Yeah, that's
football.
The only game we can watch. So.
Yeah. So everybody's eyes
No
is gonna be
swats.
glued to the screen. All right. So what we got here is I'm gonna give y'all my 5 fly picks for this week. These are the games that I would bet and that I am very interested in. Whether or not you want to parlay them, do them one at a time is really up to your discretion. But speaking of KC Cardinals, that is my first game on my list. I like the Cardinals because they are 6-point underdogs at home. They will probably still lose this game to the Chiefs, but I think they could lose by less than a touchdown. KC's offense is still figuring itself out, and I expect there will probably be some come from behind Mahomes magic to win this game late, but I don't think they're going to lose by a whole touchdown. Another one that we talked about, Cliff had this one on his list, Green Bay versus Minnesota. That is my second game. Look, first off, I would just take the Vikings money line. I think the Vikings are going to beat the Packers. The games were close last year when they played each other. They were hella close, right? And the Vikings got better and the Packers got worse. The Vikings are also 1.5-point underdogs at home. I think people are overestimating what Rodgers will be able to do early in the season with his weapons, not necessarily late, because we know he can figure stuff out, and they are underestimating what Minnesota can do with their breadth of weapons. Like Adam Thielen will be healthy at the beginning of the season. Justin Jefferson is him. And Dalvin Cook will also be fully healthy because it's the beginning of the season. My next one here is Philly versus Detroit. I like Philly -4. They're a 4-point favorite in the early window. Detroit is a team that is getting back to being good, and they're building something. But I honestly think they're going to get yes, they're going to get dog walked. I agree. It is only a 4-point spread, and I believe they're going to get dog walked, and Jalen Hurts is going to look fantastic.
Eagles always start out with a slap game.
Yeah. And against the Lions, it's hard
They had the Falcons last year. I mean, this is a slap game. Let's warm up. Get this scrimmage out the way.
So my fourth one, I think here, and let me finish before y'all interrupt, because y'all know y'all gonna interrupt. 49ers versus the Bears. I got the Bears +7, and that's just a huge spread. Like, I know there's a lot of negative talk going on about the Bears. Y'all think they bad, right? And of course, a lot of questions about our offensive line. All I'm saying is I think the Bears can make this a competitive game and lose by less than 7 points. Please remember that before you say shit. Remember, the spread is 7. That is big. And I'm just saying they lose by less than 7. All right. Generally, I like to stay away from my team on things like this, but it is open.
Damn, Sports World.
Yo, Sports World in the comments saying L.
Drop the L.
Yo, I'm not even gonna say we win. I'm just saying that we can cover 7. All right, we might lose by 4. We might lose by 5. Who knows? But I'm saying that there's a chance we could win this game, but I'm not gonna go there with y'all. But the spread is big enough that I feel very confident in this, and we do not know enough about what Trey Lance is yet for a spread
that
to
game
be
is going
this
to be
big.
boring. I agree with you. That could be like a 13-10 game.
I will take a 13-10 game. Don't get it twisted. All right. Especially because they don't have Kittle. They might not have Kittle. Groin injury. So I like that even more. All right. The last one was the hardest one for me to pick. Right. I almost wanted to take the Bills. I almost wanted to take the Patriots versus Dolphins. Right. And I almost wanted to take the Dolphins at the -3.5, them being the 3.5-point favorites. All right, Tio. But I just couldn't do that to Bill. Right. I just couldn't do that to Bill. And there was even though y'all offense looks atrocious, we didn't We just see Mac and Cheese throw it to like quadruple coverage, where everybody on the opposite team had a better chance at the ball. Y'all ain't got no coordinator. I gotta see it look bad before I start betting on it looking bad because of my reverence for Bill Belichick. So I ain't take that one. All right.
All I'm gonna say is we gonna sit here and act like the Dolphins ain't got no holes to fill.
That's why I ain't take it. That's all I'm trying to say. I ain't take it because I ain't feel comfortable.
Okay.
So I took Tampa -2 against Dallas. I don't think Cliff thinks they're gonna win this game. So winning by 2, I think is a small enough margin that I felt confident. I just believe Tom Brady will be able to will his team to a win over the depleted Dallas roster, and damn near any win is going to be enough to cover this spread, which is why the Tampa v Dallas game is my 5th pick in the 5 fly. Does anybody else have any prop bets that they like this weekend, things that they got their eye on?
I like a futures bet of Justin Herbert to lead in yards or passing touchdowns. If you want to just do something not for this week, but for the season as a whole, I think he's going to be airing that shit out.
Hey, I do not blame you. Like, even when they use their running backs, he's going to be catching a lot of passes. He's going to catch like 60 to 70 of the mugs. So,
yep.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That one's pretty good. All right.
I mean, they got Jacoby Brissett under 0.5 passing touchdowns. I mean.
So basically, you believe that he going to throw a touchdown. You got to take that.
Yeah, you got to take that one. Come on now. They acting like Jacoby Brissett is dog water or something like.
Look, he ain't dog water. He gave the Dolphins some good play. I want to say it was early last year, and maybe before that it was the
Colts,
and then before that it was the Patriots, right?
Yeah.
So like he ain't bad, but we also know how they like to run the ball in Cleveland. You think they're gonna throw the ball more with Jacoby Brissett than they did with Baker Mayfield?
I mean, all I'm gonna say is they so good at running the ball, a quick little play action. I mean, he's a good quarterback. Like, not saying like he's not a bad starter, but I feel like he's a valuable backup.
Yeah.
Like he can come in and win the game. Like I personally don't think he would come in and lose you the game, personally.
Okay.
That's what I think. Another one I got is Joe Mixon under 2.5 receptions versus the Steelers.
Under or over?
Under. So they're saying under. I think he'll definitely catch at least 3 passes.
Okay. All right. So you'll take the over on that. All right. I like that. I like that a lot. Those are pretty good. All right, y'all. Then we hit the final segment of the show, the heart of the show, Ballers Bouquet. Too often in the media, people only focus on the negative and salacious things athletes do and never want to give them their credit where credit is due. Here we like to make a change. And this week's Ballers Bouquet goes out to former NFL star and former Eagle Malcolm Jenkins, who has fully invested in the first ever whiskey made from grains by solely Black and brown farmers. This is part of his Broad Street Ventures that he does through his charity. And basically, he has been able to invest a $1.4 million acquisition in Faber Distilling to try to make a successful whiskey brand. And it's part of a larger $10 million investment he has in Black and Brown Enterprises, where he is creating spaces for minority investors or minority entrepreneurs, as well as women entrepreneurs. Through this, he is one step of his Millstone Spirit Group and creating a whole distillery where they are farming and getting the materials from Black and brown farmers. So we like to give him his credit for that, and he gets this week's Ballers Bouquet. All right, y'all. That is it for our episode 83, week 1. we are excited to see y'all after this week, see what's going to happen. Some of us will come in happy. Many of us will probably come in sad, considering I think every single one of our teams is a underdog. Maybe Sam's actually might not be, but me, Cliff, and Tio, all our teams are underdogs this week. So Vegas is expecting us to get blasted. So it might be a sullen pod for episode 84, but there is always a silver lining of hope. So we appreciate everybody who rocked with us through the live stream, whether you listened on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, etc. We appreciate Sports World for rocking with us. He says W episode. And we will be here again next week, 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern, breaking down week 2 on Wednesday. Appreciate y'all.
The fly route pod. The fly route pod. The fly route pod. The fly route pod.